Welcome to Learning Cornish for Absolute Beginners, Lesson Pessoir 4. Lesson 4. Apologies to those of you who've been waiting a while for this. I've been going through a bit of personal turmoil and whatnot in my private life. And also, I'm still very much learning this language myself, so I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But I think today we can tackle a few numbers together. So let's get into it. Oh man, oh man, oh man. The Cornish word for nothing, zero, nothing at all, is man. Okay, man. That is the Cornish word for zero, man. Okay, number 1, ornan. Okay, ornan, ornan, or ornan. Okay, sounds a bit like ornan. I'm standing on top of a grandma. Okay, ornan, ornan, 1, ornan. Okay, 2 is Dow, Dow, like the famous financial market, the Dow Jones or whatever. Okay, so Dow. Number 2, Dow. Okay. Number 3 is tree. Okay, tree. Like the big wooden thing with leaves on, you know. Hopefully there's plenty of them around where you live because they're very beautiful to look at. Tree. Okay. You want at least 3 trees around you. Okay, 4, pessoir. Okay, pessoir. That's a pretty easy one to remember. I should have thought it's a pretty unique word. 4, this is lesson 4, lesson pessoir. Okay, number 5 is pimp. Sounds a lot like an illegal profession that's usually found in some parts of America. So yeah, pimp, number 5. Okay, pimp. 6, jueg. So if you look at the way this is spelt, the GHs in Cornish are they're sort of pronounced like a softer version of the end of the Scottish word for lock. Okay, lock. So in this case, it's not jueg, it's jueg. Okay, jueg. So when you see that GH, think okay, like a softer lock, a softer CH of lock. Jueg. Okay, that's number 6. Number 7, just saith it as it is. Saith, okay? Saith, just saith, saith. Yeah, saith. Okay, number 8, aith. Yeah, aith. I mean, it sounds a bit like 8 anyway, that one, so that's not too hard. Aith, okay? Number 9, N-A-W. This looks like gnaw to a sort of English mind, but it's pronounced now. Okay, now is the time to learn how to say number 9, and it's now. Okay, now. And then we move on to number 10, which is of course deg. Again, this D-E-G, it's not deg, it's deg. So sort of sounds like it would be pronounced D-E-H-G sort of thing. Deg, not deg, deg. Okay, deg. Okay, so that's the first 10 done already. Wow. Okay, cool. So go back through those now, pause it, you know, practice or go back again if you need to. And we're going to 20 today, all the way up to 20. Okay, so number 11 is unek. Okay, unek. So un is like 1 and ek is the, I guess the extra 10, so 10 and 1. Unek, okay, unek is 11. Now, number 12 is dowlek. Okay, dowlek. So you might see a bit of a pattern coming with these next ones. Dowlek is 12, and then 13 is trethek, like the famous man from Camborne, Richard Trethek. Trethek, okay, for 13. 14, pessoirthek, okay, and then so that's easy again. Pessoir, pessoirthek, 4 and 14. Pessoir is 4, pessoirthek 14. Okay, 15, pimptek. Stop ya! I made a big mistake here. Just realised that looking back. Somehow I wrote this down wrong when I was doing it, but it should be pimpthek, not pimptek. So sorry about that. Now back to the video. And then 16, hoitek. Yeah. 17, have a guess. Satek. Okay. 18, have another guess. Atek, okay. 19, this is a bit different, this one. Nounsek, okay. Nounsek, okay. So we've got now for 9 and then nounsek for 19. And then 20 is oogans. Oh, that's a very satisfying word to say. All 20 of them. Oogans, oogans. Okay then. So let's just have a quick recap of those first 20. So we got man, 0, 1, onan, 2, dow, 3, tree, 4, peswar, 5, pimp, 6, hoek, 7, saith, 8, eth, 9, now, 10, deg, 11, unek, 12, dowek, 13, trethek, 14, peswarthek, 15, pimptek, 16, hoitek, 17, satek, 18, atek, 19, nounsek, and 20, ugans. Okay, they will all be written on the screen somewhere here. Okay, so we're going to move into something a little bit more complicated. Now you've got those first 20 down. First of all, if you're going to say you've got, 20 sheep or 20 whatever you can think of, okay? Well, actually, that's probably sheep is probably a very bad example because it's one of the few words in English which you don't say a plural of. But yeah, whatever you are explaining, you always use the singular afterwards. So you don't say I've got 10 cats. You say I've got 10 cat. Okay, or you don't say I've got 10 dogs. You say I've got 10 dog. Okay, so it's always singular after you're describing how many of something you've got. Okay, so that's something to bear in mind with Cornish and the numbers. The other thing which we've briefly touched on in one of the previous lessons was the mutation. Okay, this happens quite a lot. Always after, usually feminine words are the ones that get mutated. There is a few exceptions for the male words, but it's usually the females that have the most mutating power in them. Apart from, of course, when you come to numbers. And when you come to numbers, everything gets mutated. Okay, so there's several letters that do mutate in Cornish, but we're not going to get too complex from it. We're just going to start with K. So it goes K, G, H. So for example, Corno, yeah, Cornwall, Corno, the Cornish word for Cornwall. Corno would go from Corno to Gurno to Herno. Okay, those are the 3 steps of mutation from Corno to Gurno to Herno, depending on the circumstances. Okay, now I say this because numbers, like I said, tend to mutate a lot. So just take your time. It's not as complicated as it sounds. I'll try and explain it the best I can. Okay, so first we need to do a little recap on the first 4 of those numbers. Okay, so I taught you how to count from 0 to 20. Okay, but there are a few little extra bits now that we're going to add in. So onan, the word for 1, is only used when counting. Okay, so when you're counting, you use onan. When you're saying you've got one of something, for example, 1 dog, you don't say onan ki, you say un ki. Okay, so that onan changes to un. Okay, now, of course, it can't just be that simple either. This is Cornish after all, and it has lots of lovely sort of seemingly arbitrary rules. So we're going to get into one of these, which is the female word for dow, which is do. So when you get to learn what is feminine and what is masculine, you will use the feminine versions of the number to say how many of a certain thing you have. So, for example, I would say I have 2 dogs, which would be dao gi. Okay, but if I was to say I would have 2 cats, I would use the feminine version of dao, which is diu. Okay, diu. So dao gi, but diu gath. Okay. Now, same with number 3. Okay, so for a dog, okay, I'm going to say I've got tree he, okay, so I've got 3 dogs. But if I was going to say I had 3 cats, I would say I had tear hath, okay. So tree is the masculine version and tear is the feminine version, okay. And then we get to pesoir, okay. Pesoir is the male version, so pesoir key, okay, 4 dogs. And then peder cath, so 4 cats, okay. So just to recap those first 4. Incidentally enough, the lady who's teaching me Cornish says if anyone asks you how many of something you've got at least 5, and that way you don't have to remember any of this, which is a very handy trick. Anyway, so 1, onen, if you're counting, or if you're describing, saying how much of something you have, okay. 2 is dau, or diu is the feminine version, okay. 3 is tree, or ter, feminine version. 4 is pesoir or peder, feminine version. Okay, cool. So, for example, I'm going to stick with the dogs and cats because dogs are masculine in Cornish and cats are feminine, just to sort of explain this, okay? So, I'll start with dog, okay? Dog, key. That's pretty simple, okay? Just a dog, key. Okay, then key is 1 dog, not olen key, key, all right? Then because of the mutation, okay, because it's now second state mutation, so that K is going to change to a G. So instead of dau ki, it's going to go dau gi, okay? So we've got ki, ki, dau gi, okay? Tree, okay? What can you think if you can remember the KGH? Okay, so it's going to change from gi to he. So tree he. Okay, 3 dog. Tree he. And remember, dogs are masculine, which normally do not mutate, but when you're describing numbers, male and female mutate. Okay, and then pesoir just goes back to normal. Okay, so pesoir ki. And then all the way up, no matter how many other dogs you got, it will always be ki. It won't change to gi or he. It will just be ki all the way up. Okay, so for example, now ki, 9 dogs. Okay, or huitek ki. Okay, so 16 dogs. Okay. Now we're going to look now at cats. Okay, and of course cats are feminine in Cornish. So they're going to be probably 1 mutation ahead. Okay, so first of all, cath, which is cat. Okay, very simple. A cat, cath. Okay, now it's going to, because the word is already a mutator for a feminine word, it's going to change straight away. Okay, so whereas with the masculine it was ki for dog, then ki, yeah, 1 dog. But because it's feminine, the is going to mutate like a step ahead, if you like. So it will be gath instead of cath. Okay, gath, 1 cat. Okay. Now we go to 2 feline friends. Okay, so it's not going to be dau because they're feminine. It's going to be diu. Okay, so diu gath. Okay, 2 cats. Okay, diu gath. Okay. And then the next stage is not going to be tree because they're feminine, so it's going to be ter, okay, ter hath, okay, so the next stage up again. This is, because it's third, it's going to have third state mutation, okay, K, G, H, okay, so ter hath. And then finally, peder cath, so we're back to the K again. Okay, so once it's done its little loop to start with on the 1, 2, 3, then it's going to be back to, and again, it'll be that all the way up now. So Ugan's cath, okay, 20 cats, if you're brave enough. Okay, 20 cats. Right, cool. I know that's a little bit complicated, but just try and get your head around it. We're going to go back to the original 20, and to finish off, because the idea of these lessons is to get you speaking it with your family and friends. So we're just going to have a very simple question, and you should be able to do these very, very simple mathematics with each other at home. So we're going to ask pith pimp ha pimp. Okay, So, what is 5 and 5? Okay, and obviously, if they're any good at maths at all, they should be able to answer this. So, pimp, ha, pimp, deg. Okay, 5 and 5 is 10. Okay, very simple. Okay, now we're going to ask another one, which is pithu, pimp, hag, onan. So notice again, because ha is followed by the vowel, okay, it changes from ha to hag, okay. Pithu, pimp, hag, onan. Okay, what is 5 and 1? Okay, and then remember the way that Cornish works is you pretty much repeat the sentence back with a positive or negative outcome. So in this case, pimp, hag, onan, chweg. Okay, 5 and 1 is 6. And of course you can use the first 20 numbers I've given you in this lesson to make up any sums you like. Okay, just for a minute, I think that will just about do. As ever, I put links in the description of useful resources. Hopefully I will get these lessons out a bit more regularly from now on, now I'm settled. But yeah, just get learning Canuck. Follow the links in the description. Speak Cornish website is excellent, tells you where local lessons are, and also I highly recommend this book, which is where I'm taking a lot of my sort of inspiration from, which is Bora Brav, Fine Dawn. This is a really, really good book to get started with. And yeah, pretty much enjoy it and speak Cornish. Keep learning, keep going. Okay. Moras, yakasta.